So, welcome to the Microservices lectures. It's a joint lecture for University of Kassel and University of Douala, Cameroon. My name is Albert Zündorf. This is the second lecture after all. We have had some introduction already, and today we are going to start with the actual lab. So we will do the first coding. We have had some experiences on how to organize this together with the people with Douala and on the boarding with all you people of Kassel and with the programming and modeling course that is in parallel to this course here. And it turned out that doing something like a lab session is most comfortable to do it in Discord. So after this, today I will give a short presentation, well, short, 1.5 hours, about what we are going to do the first week. And then we all switch into the Discord. And there you start actually working on your assignments. We will set up rooms in the Discord where you can actually group in small teams, 4, 5, 6 students. And we will have a lot of teaching assistants, so HEBs, that will join you in these rooms and give you help and do some collaboration and question answering things. And we will have another Discord session on Thursday, Donnerstag, 1600, where you again will do some more lab work and actually program the things that I'm going to show you today. And then you can also get your grading. So if you see a TA on Thursday, he will actually say, okay, this is fine, you did it. And then he will write down that you get all your points, and then you can go on to the lecture next week. Then you are done with this week. Today, I would like to start with the example that we are going to implement. And I said we would do something like Amazon. So what we want is an online web shop where you can actually buy some goods. And what we also want is something like a warehouse where these goods are actually stored and where workers are picking your order and sending it to you. We might even do delivery, but I don't think that this is going to work. So in Germany, you would actually do it and have a delivery service for that. I have no idea how Douala would probably most likely do it. But this is just beyond the scope of this course. So actually we want a small web application that is not too fancy. And we will have 2 different servers after all. One for the online web shop and one for each warehouse. If you have multiple warehouses, we will have multiple of these things. And to give you an introduction on what is going to go on in our application, I decided to come up with an event storming. So event storming is a technique developed by Alberto Bartolino some 2 years ago, some 4 years ago, and it fits very much our beat, and it's a very efficient technique to do requirements engineering at the coarse grain level, and we will then see how we are going to refine it. And I decided to do this with the help of Google Drawings so that we can actually share this. So if you have access to my slides, you should be able to actually go to this Google Drawing document. And so you can go around and have a look at it. You will actually probably need this later on when you do implement all the stuff that I'm drawing here. So I should be able to focus on that. There is some explanation on what all these stickers here need, and there is a link to a short introduction of where you can actually find how to deal with event storming. Actually, you will not need to do event storming your own. All I expect from you is that you can get the idea that I'm outlining here. And so now I will try to enhance the size, go all the other way. Come on. And actually, the problem is that this is so small already. I can't reach the things anymore. Let's go for this one here. So now it's pretty large. And so event storming is that you collect events that may happen in your application. And as we have a shop, a web shop, one central part of this is that Alice might order shoes. So, or some customer might order shoes. And actually, so who knows Alice in Wonderland? Hey, so this is a little bit inspired. Also, all the time I get Alice as an example. Name I use red shoes as something that she's going to buy. And what we eventually want to happen is that at the very end, Alice got her shoes. Alice got her shoes. And so that are the basic things that we actually said. A customer orders something and the customer gets something. And there needs to be probably something in between. In order to be able to actually order something, it should have been put into the store before. So there's some other people, Dora, for example, who actually puts some red shoes into the shop, which says that it's now an online advertisement in the web shop where you can actually buy this. Before Dora can do that, we need to actually have red shoes in the store, in our warehouse. So what we need is that some other people, example Bob, from the warehouse, orders some palette of red shoes, some 50, some 100 shoes. And then someone needs to deliver these shoes. So good shoes comes from Italy, at least if you're in Europe. So Italy delivered the palette of red shoes. And then when the red shoes are arriving at our warehouse, it needs to be stored within the warehouse in some shelf or some place somewhere. And this is done by Kali Forklifter. So he's actually taking the pallet, putting it somewhere in a shelf or in our warehouse. And then, once this has happened, Dora can actually say, okay, yeah, I put it into the web shop so we can actually sell them. So now Alice can actually order these shoes. And, she should pay for that. So we charge her account. So we said, okay, it's all prepaid something. So every customer has an account and you put money on that. And when you have done via PayPal or whatever, it's just again out of scope of this application, you can actually do some buying. So we charge $23. We should do dollar in here. For red shoes is withdrawn from Alice's account, and Alice ordered. Then we create a pick task. So picking is in English the task of, well, there is some people at the warehouse who get the order to be delivered, and then they go to the shelf, pick the goods that should be delivered, put the post stamp on it, and then it's going to the post office, and then it's sent to the customers. And so what we first have to do is to create a task that this red shoe should be picked and sent to Alice. And then there is some guy here, it's Aisha, she's a picker, and she picked Alice's order, and so it is sent, and Alice got her shoes. So that's basically the baseline story of our thing here. And actually, we still have to do some things, because before we can actually, Bob can actually order a pallet of red shoes, Well, Bob has to register for our warehouse. So we need an account for Bob so that Bob is able to do this. And yeah, so that's actually the very first thing that we are going to start with today. So we will do program something that allows some of our employees, of the pickers, of the warehouse workers, of the web shop workers to create an account and to do all the stuff they should do to work with our warehouse and with the shop. So this is the time that we actually introduce Bob, and Bob just gets a light yellow sticker. So event stickers in event storming are orange, and it's always something that has happened already. So it's always in past tense. That's a big thing in the event storming. So we need to do that. And so what actually happens is that Bob first registers, and then Bob will log in to our system. So before an event happens, there needs something to be done to, make this event happen. And actually, these are usually done in blue. Blue is that somehow the system or a user has come to the decision that an action shall be executed. And these are shown in blue. And that might be a register, and later on it might be a login. And then we have these full yellow things here, which is actually data that is provided if we do log in. So what I do want is an identifier, which is an email address. Bob at the warehouse.c, but actually warehouse is too general. I prefer having real names for these things. So we will actually do a shop and a warehouse run by WASP Enterprises. Is Sebastian there? Do we still have this WASP Enterprises website? Okay, some years ago we were actually creating a fake enterprise, WASP Enterprises, to use it in our lectures. So we do it again here. So it's WASP Enterprises. And I actually have some slides with a big announcement and WASP Enterprises, the good new web company. So I skip that because it's just beyond our course. What we will have is an email that belongs to WASP Enterprises, so wasp.com, or I took a shorthand here, w.c, and we need a name. So it's Bob Warehouse actually, and I shortened that one too. And we need a password. And that's basically the data that we are going to have for one of our users. I have showed this data here in a YAML dialect. So usually we would actually show the data using JSON, JavaScript object notation. JSON has curly braces at the front and the end, and then tag values or key value pairs separated by a colon. So YAML is yet another markup language, and it just says, oh, these curly braces are so hard. Let's just have a dash for a new object or new data record or data set, and that's doing the same thing. For the thing here, I will use YAML to describe data. And later on, I will actually do more shorthands I show you when I'm there. Okay, so this is the data that actually is going to be delivered by some kind of user interface that I do not yet have. And then there will be some action. And in event storming, they use a lot of colors. And this is, light pink color that says, oh, this is an action. And this is probably done by the server who says, okay, there's some guy wanting to log into our system or to register in our system, are we going to accept this? So there's code that checks, is this a valid registration? That checks, oh no, we already have a Bob at WC. So no, we are not doing a new registration for this guy, but he shall just log in with his old password. Or it says, oh yes, it's a local address. It has the email from our thing, and actually this user interface that will show up very soon is only offered in our internet, so you cannot reach it from outside. And therefore, we trust all the people. If you are within our enterprise, within the warehouse, and you can actually access our local web, then you are allowed to log in. So we do not check any further. And so we will create an account. In addition to the pink color, I will use this prompt symbol, this angel bracket, to show that there's some code actually here that is going to be executed. There may be another path that actually login is going to fail that we will have a look at later. Actually, this whole thing is a pretty complex thing. And then you can say, oh, I have a sub-process for this. And a sub-process is a dark pink post-it, which is actually usually set as a diamond. And it says, oh, there's coming more. And I decided to put the things down here. I'm not yet sure about this, but I will now actually go into the details of how should the registration being done. Okay, so there's some user, Bob, at this warehouse. And I prefer to have very concrete scenarios. And to achieve this, I say, oh, it's 1 p.m. and 1 minute. So it's 13:01 is the clock time at Monday, probably, in December 2020, whatever. And we are at waspwarehouse.com. And this is the first screen that we share. And so again, we use these yellow sticker. And instead of data, this yellow sticker now shows a mock-up of some user interface. So, and this is outlined by these 3 dashes here, or lines here, which shall represent a burger menu. So actually, we think this is a smartphone or a tablet. And then you have this kind of menu on the top left within your browser. And this is your application, and it shows the time and the URL you are working at. And then this is the actual content of it. And there's one line that says, oh, please, customer, would you enter the system? And then there's this underlined thing here, which is my short notation for, oh, I want an input field here. Who knows what an input field is? Anybody who knows what an input field is? So Douala is always some 3-4 seconds behind, but so we will, for the questions, take more time, but fine. Okay. And there we can actually, I have already entered the email address of Bob. And then this with the square brackets is a button after all. So this is just ASCII art for mock-up user interface thing, the very simple, plain thing that I can actually do in this diagram here. And then this here is saying, oh, I'm clicking on the OK button now. And then this will actually say, okay, this is a new user. We do not yet know this email address. Therefore, we switch to the registration page and ask the new user to register. And the register form actually says, I want your email address, I want your full name, and I want your password. And then you click on OK again. And once you have done this, 1 minute later, there is a request sent to the server finally, which says, oh, I want to have a new user in my system with this email address, with this name, and with this password. Okay? Fine for you? You can actually do this login registry a little bit different. And I just said, okay, this is one thing that you can do. You could also have log in here and have the email and the password directly, and below it a button saying OK, and just below that one, not yet registered, please register here. That would be another alternative. We could do that too. But let's have it this way, just as one possible example. Okay, so that's what we are going to implement today. So we start with the browser application, where we can have this screen here. Okay, so I have started my thing here, and actually I have prepared this yesterday, and this is now in the state that is prepared, and therefore I would like to go back to a previous state, and I need the Git Kraken here, and just a minute. If you have any questions so far for the example, please, that is a good time to do that. And okay, I will just put this in here. Preparation, stage all changes, preparation, commit changes to 7.5. There was some discussion in the Discord about how to organize all the Git repositories. We will actually, Windows, let me show you that. So this is my thing here, Microservices. This is my project as it was created when I accepted the GitHub Classroom invitation. Within that thing, I have little things, not so much. There is, I did this npx create React application, and I already created the web shop, and I also created the web warehouse. So these are the browser applications, after all, or the clients in our whole picture. Later on, we will have also 2 additional directories for the backend, for the server side. And those will be called, well, server, warehouse, and server shop, probably. It should probably be other way around, shop web and warehouse web and shop, but who cares? So there will be 4 things here, which usually are their own project within our Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code works on one of these folders at a time, usually. And here we will actually do the npm start and these kinds of stuff. Can I actually enhance the size? Come on. What's this? I'm sorry. Yeah, so why not? Yeah, please. Yeah, I put this folder, the Microservices shop Zündorf folder, into my repository, just one repository so far. So later on, when we actually are going to deploy this whole thing to Heroku, so we will actually use Heroku, which is a cloud that allows you to, well, install your own servers in the cloud. Heroku actually works with Git either, and they want 1 Git per service per application. And they would like to have Gits for this one and for this one, so local Git projects. So later on, we will have one Git at the top level and another Git for each of the sub-projects. This is an unconventional setting, but it is a very simple setting for this lecture here, because then our DAs can just check out all your sub-projects in a single pull and then have a look at it. And so that is just more convenient for teaching and grading you. And therefore, we have chosen to do it this way. Okay? So now I want back to go here and I say checkout. Come on. Checkout failed. Could not remove dir because it's running. No. A question in the chat. Yeah, could you comment on that and I can look for why this is not working? So I have reset my whole thing to a start situation. And what I have done meanwhile, I have created in Visual Studio Code something which is called a workspace. You do not need to that, but this is a handy thing. Please Google how to do that. I'm not going to explain it to you. I have just no time for it. Last on the Discord, I said, oh, please do this npx create thing for the web shop. Good thing. But now I ask you to do it for the web warehouse too. And I actually have done it. And it's in the Discord. And it says the boarding thing. I have just added it lately. No, it's here. I know it. No. Here. So that was the original thing that we were asking you to prepare. And this week, please also prepare this thing here. So you go in your root project folder. So this microservices, blah, blah, with your name attached. And you create another React app, which is called Web Warehouse. And you use the template TypeScript, and then you go into that. And finally, you will have something that looks like this one here. And we can actually run npm start. That starts. It should now open a browser application. Localhost 3000. Great. Takes some time. So why? Here we are. So that's the default thing, how this npm create React app is going to install this thing to you. I will put that to the left and put this one to the right and actually move this a little bit in here and make this even smaller so that we have these side by side for the lecture at least. Okay, so this is a project that has been created, a folder. And now let's have a look at what we all got in here. So for the thing important is this file, package.json. Come on, go. Yeah. We will have a short look on it. Usually you will not have to touch this file, but I want, if there are any problems and you need troubleshooting, you might have to have a look in it. So it actually says, this is the name of the project we are working in. There's some version information. It says it's private. I have no idea why. Then there is a list of dependencies. This should be shorter than I have if you start with this thing. No, it's like this. Oh, great. And it says that we would like to use the React library in version 17.01, that we use React DOM library and React script, that we use TypeScript and web vitals, which we will use later on. This is for statistics. In addition, there are these things with types in here. This say actually, in addition to the library, please load interface description or API documentation that is used by TypeScript. So usually all these things are JavaScript libraries, and TypeScript is adding some type information, static type information to JavaScript. And there's actually a TypeScript compiler called TS. And this TypeScript compiler compiles all your TypeScript code to JavaScript, and the JavaScript is actually sent to the browser. And so running here is JavaScript, and we use a compiler to compile our things. And this compiler needs additional type information. This is provided by these entries here. This is something for testing here. I have no idea. These are dependencies. Then there is debug. Interesting. I have no idea what this means. There's another important thing here. So this is, by the way, JavaScript object notation. So you have the curly braces, and then tag values, and this is, and it may be nested. So the dependencies has another curly brace. So these are a big object that are the value of the dependencies thing. And the script thing has, declares a number of commands that npm, the node package manager, can execute for us. We used already npm start, which actually internally executes this thing here. We could have typed React dash scripts start instead of npm start. I use npm start just because it's shorter. There is another script that does build something. So the start thing does something like just-in-time compilation of the TypeScript thing. You can actually also have a TypeScript interpreter instead of compiling these things. I'm not sure about it. And it compiles the code in a way that you can still debug it. We will show this later on. And so you use this during development. And once your application is fully developed, you do a npm build in order to compile it in a more compact form that is the productive version of your application, and that is harder to debug, harder to decompile, harder to cheat on, and it's more efficient. This is, I have no idea. And there's a list of browsers that you can use. I have no idea what this is good for. And there's something about development I don't know either. Okay, it actually says that I can use Chrome, Firefox, and Safari to show this. Package.json. At some times we will actually edit this, but very seldom. Okay, what else is here? There is a README. This is just for GitHub. There's tsconfig, the TypeScript configuration, that is actually provides options for the TypeScript compiler. We'll leave it for now. I don't want to have a look at it. There is yarn.log. So they use yarn is an alternative to npm. We don't use it anymore. And they leave some like logging information. So which are the packages we have already loaded? And actually, it's a bad idea to switch between yarn and npm back and forth. But they use this. I use npm all the time, and it works so far. There's this source folder. There's our application code. There's this public folder. This has static HTML content. So there is this index HTML file we have a look at, which is the default HTML file, having a lot of things in here, but actually only a very small body in here, and it will be replaced later on. It has this React app title, so actually that should show somewhere here, React app, yeah, you can see that. The post up says it's the React app, and the kind of, let's try this application. Now it says React application. Cool. Can you see that? It's pretty small. Sorry for that. So what we want here is the WASP warehouse. Cool. Do that have. Very important is this thing here, which says, there is a div tag, which is an HTML tag, stands for diverse, which says, I'm just a block of something. I have content, and I would like to show it in a full block, full page width thing, like a paragraph a little bit, but with less decoration and predefined other things. So this is a basic building block that we will use all the time within our thing. So what else is here? There's a favicon. A favicon is the icon that is shown here. If we can actually replace this with our WASP Enterprise icon, then we get another icon here on the top up here. There's some logos. The thing that is rotating in here. There's a manifest JSON. I have no idea for what this is good. This is a robots.txt telling Google not to scroll my page, and that's it. Okay, so public static HTML content that can be accessed via the browser. Node modules. This is a huge thing, and there npm or John store all our libraries, all the code that we are using. It's huge. You don't want to look at it. The git ignore has been generated. Is a default. We just leave it there. Okay, great. So let's have a look at the source. So usually, if you display a web page and you start with no slash and then more URL elements after the server name, then you will show the index file. So it's usually index HTML. And in our case, it's actually this index HTML is going, should have for index HTML, should have something saying, I want to use index TSX. No script div. Is there a link, favicon, meta? I can't find it. Who knows where to find the call of the JavaScript thing? Please help me. I need help. I have no idea. It's done somehow by the React thing. So actually, our execution will start with the index TSX with a TypeScript extension. And the TSX file just, this is TypeScript with some extension. And the extension is this part here up to here. I can actually enhance this, I think. Wow. Oh, that's too big. Okay. TSX allows you to embed templates for HTML within your code. And actually, this is something that becomes part of your HTML page. And this is our new tag that we have applied, the app here, and this one here. So actually, this is somehow HTML code. And this command here, React DOM render, says, so this is a function call to the function render provided by the React DOM library class. And it says, please turn this into HTML and then go for the page that you have already loaded, find the element that has the ID root, you recall the div here. Come on, here, this one. And replace its context with the thing that you have generated for this one here. So this is actually an HTML template, a template that is then expanded by React to a full page at client side. And then the div that is called root or had the ID root is going to be replaced by the outcome of this thing here. And this is what the render operation does. And there's something like report web details where you can actually add some statistics to your page. And we are going to do this, well, at the end of the course, perhaps. So here it starts. And actually it says, oh, please call the template that is the tag app. This one is here. So app, I'll have to make this a little bit bigger so that you can see the full line. Okay, great. Is a file which allows also these template stuff in here. And currently it has a function called app. And this function returns such a template. And therefore, you can actually use it in the index TSX and call it the way we have seen. So this is now actually creating the full template. And it says, oh, I want a header for some reason with this logo here and then this page here. So if this is, again, template code that is then translated to HTML, well, actually div is standard HTML. I think header is standard HTML too. I'm not sure about it. Image is standard HTML to have something, some pictures in here. And so I don't like it. Get rid of it. If I now save this, it recompiles, and now you see that the logo is gone. Cool. Here it still says edit. I don't like the edit either. Go away. So now it just have this learn React link. We could actually use that, but actually I don't like that one either. And I also do not like this header here. So just get rid of all of it. So I will stay with this div up here, and I will put another div in here. And if I go back to my picture in here, it says the first thing that I want is this enter here. And actually, perhaps it would be good to have the name of the web application. So let's do something like WASP warehouse here. And then go back to this page. And now, oh, look, we have a WASP warehouse here. I love it. Cool. Great. And then I do this. Enter. Okay, cool. Hey, fine. I like it. That's pretty good already. I do not like that these are pretty close to each other. So now we need some styling to be done. Yeah. So what we always will need is this. We have nested diffs. I do not want to do something with the outer diff. I just want to do something with the inner diffs. And therefore, I will actually do something which looks a little bit strange for now, but that will actually help. And how do I say this? Come, let's have a try. I get rid of this one, get rid of this one, get rid of, please. Okay. To do layouting in your system, you have to look at the CSS files. We can actually do this in app.css or in index.css as we like. The index CSS is pretty short, so let's do it here. Usually you say that each component of your final application has its own style sheets, but you also want something like corporate identity. So you want one style sheet for the whole thing. And then you can put it into app CSS or index CSS. So actually, we can actually have a poll on that. So who would like to have it in index CSS? Who would like it into app.css? That's pretty even. So I do it here. You can do it where you want. And now you say something like, so these are the formatting examples that we have here. This says, for every tag that has the name body, please provide 0 margin, use this font family, do something like this one here, I have no idea. If you have a tag called code, then use the font family with monospace. So, and if it is a div, I want, for example, a margin of 12 points, px pixels. And I think there needs to be something like that. And did you see how this jumped? There's now more margin. Hey, so I like it, that's fine. Let's stick with it. Yeah, great. So let's go back to what is next. Now there comes an input field. Okay, let's add an input field. So we add another div. Actually, a div for us just creates a new line. Because now there will be a nested tag. We have an input field. And I'll actually do this shorthand notation here, which says I do not have a clothing /input thing, but it's just a single tag. It's just easier. And if you do that, you see there's an input field here. Great. So Bob can enter, has his v.c email. Great. Actually, this is not yet centered. Let's stay with it by now. Okay. What's next? We should click on it. Cool. Let's try this. Oh, no, we don't have a button yet. Oh, we need a button. Okay. /div /button. I use the button tag usually. And for some reasons, I use these pair of tags now with the /button, and it should name OK. Hey, we have a button. You see it? You can do something with colors within your style sheets and these kinds of stuff, but I leave it for now. Cool. So if I click on this, nothing happens. And so now we need to, well, restructure our things. Actually, what we would like to do is we would like to provide an on-click action. And to provide an on-click action that is to be called when we click on the OK button, we need another function. And now we need actually to group our functions. And therefore, we do not use this simple style for creating templates or components anymore, but we use a slightly more complex thing. And what we do is we create a class. We call it app. And this class extends React component. Curly braces open. Curly braces clothing. And then it's alternative shift format. No. Control shift format. No. What is the format? Alt Shift F. Yeah, and it doesn't work because it's not compiling by now. So we need to replace this with an operation called render. And then it should Alt Shift F. Hey, yeah, we did format automatically so that the indentation is right. So now we have a class called app, which is a React component, which has a render function, which is the full notation for what we have had before was just a shorthand notation. And within that class, we can have additional functions. So this class can have a render function, which is actually inherited from React.component, has a predefined semantics, and some additional actions. So the enter button action, which is a function, sorry. Okay, and it's curly braces, come on. I lost my curly braces, I know. Oh yeah, no, yeah, it was switching to German keyboard or to English keyboard. Here we are. Now we have an action, which is a function. And now there comes something which is pretty special to TypeScript or JavaScript. You can have variables that hold functions or pointers to functions. So functions are first level citizens like numbers or strings or objects. You can have variables that hold numbers. You can have variables that hold strings. You can have variables that hold these templates, and you can have variables that hold functions. And so actually what you can do here now is you can say click on click equals, and then I do these things, I think, and I say this dot enter button action, and no round braces. So this is not a function call, but I access a field of my class saying that holds the enter button action, the function. And I just put this function in here. Weird stuff. You're welcome. Good. Put the picture up there. But now you don't see me anymore. Yeah. Okay. If we do that and we click on here, nothing happens. Damn it. Let's try to have some reaction, whether this actually works. So in Java, you would actually do a system out print line. And in TypeScript, the same thing is console dot log. You put my picture up, or what do we want? Yeah, cool. Thank you. So console.log is doing a printout. And there are a lot of strings. So the usual string is just one quote. And it says action button pressed. Button pressed would be enough. Yeah, cool. In TypeScript, the semicolon that terminates a statement, it's optional. You can have it, but you do not need to. But as an old Java programmer, I always do it. So if I click on that one, I still don't see anything. However, I now need to go into the debugger. So the console output is actually within my browser. And I press F12 to open this one thing here, and it doesn't work at all. And I need to go for the console, and now it's really tiny in here. So we have to make this a little bit bigger. This keeps very small. This is the console, and there's nothing here. Just reload and put, hey, did you see that? There's button pressed down here. Can you see that? Please, this is exciting. We have had implemented an action. We can actually listen to a button. That's cool. So now I would like to have Bob at warswarehouse.com. And W.C does suffice. And if I click it, I want to really get the content of this field. And therefore, we need to read the content of these fields. If you go through the original React course, they proposed a really complicated schema how to do this, which requires you to have two more operations, and actually I don't like it. And so I do it in a very unconventional way that probably Sebastian does not like, but I'm not sure about it. And I will use jQuery to read the value of this input field. Who knows jQuery? Okay. Before we can actually use that, we need to install it. So we get another terminal for the web warehouse. And we do an npm install jQuery. I usually do it with --save to get the default version. But while the discussion in the Discord, I learned that this is no longer necessary because that is the default thing that is going to happen. So I just do that one. npm install jQuery. Yeah. This takes its time, of course. I actually did install that already. I think it should be still there, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so it was very fast because I did it yesterday in the evening. It's still there. It was just no longer in the package.json. Let's have a look at the package.json. Yeah, I already had it in that project, but yeah, I did. So it should have been in this node modules already. And so it was faster this time because I didn't need to download it again. So now it says, oh, your project uses the jQuery library. That's cool. And we go for the file here. And now I want to do something like an import. And I want to import the dollar symbol. So for some good old reasons, the core function in jQuery is called dollar. I have no idea why. And I want to include it from the jQuery library. So now it says I can't do that. the dollar is declared, but its value is never read, and that's a point, yeah. And something is our jQuery JavaScript does not define the type something. You probably need to do npm install types. Hey, let's try that. An error occurred. Cannot read property match of undefined. I have no idea. I think npm install is going to solve this. Still an error. Cannot read property match of undefined. Package JSON. Types. It's not in here, is it? Yeah. Okay. So we need to Google that. Actually, I have it in the Discord already, but let's have a look. npm TypeScript jQuery. Come after type/jQuery. We need to do this. Copy. What did I do? Minus minus save minus dev. Yeah. So this is gold plating, but okay. Yeah. So did that work? No, it did not. Package log.json or yarn.log? There is no. Oh, yeah, there is. So yeah, just for the listeners, we call this a learning opportunity. So if it does not work for me, you probably will run into similar problems. And so actually this is how we are solving this. And there's now a lot of warnings, but it seemed it has worked. Great. It's not that in here. Okay. npm add types jQuery save minus that. Cross your fingers. No. The problem is the jQuery version. I'm not sure. So it did work yesterday. Should I remove this for the moment? No. Okay. So I ignore it, you say. Okay, I stop the npm start thing and I'll do it again. Hopefully this resolves the problem up here. Failed to compile, so it's not yet able to do this import. So why? Sorry? Import. Yeah, I see that. No, I don't like it. I'm sorry. So I still want to import the dollar, and I want it from jQuery, yeah. It still says I can't do that. And the message is, sorry. Let's still have that one here. And you say minus minus safe minus dev. Yeah. So where do I add dev dependencies? Just here. Okay, that's probably a problem in here. It doesn't have it. So you have to actually say me what I should add here. Dev dependencies. I love it. Klammer for types. jQuery. Nope. Cannot read property match of undefined. Is this another problem? No. Yarn install. It does fetch something. A lot. So yeah. So usually I do program in Java. Actually, this TypeScript stuff is, I did it last year when I gave this course already, but now we have a new something. And then we did it with Angular and was all the other things. Yeah, I should have add to this discussion that that's the Bastian dislikes that we use React this year instead of Angular. And I just overruled his thinking of this. So we just need to wait for this thing to complete. It takes its time. It's almost there. Come on. Actually, I tried to pre-install this jQuery things yesterday. So, but we should switch to John after all. Okay. And when this helps, after all. So was anybody out there able to go follow the teaching instructions so far and do similar things? So who has actually created a page with, okay, Alexei, Eric is able to do follow, Tobias, great. So it's not too fast. Hey, it says it's done. It still doesn't know jQuery. I still do npm start, don't I? Dollar is defined but never used. That's fine for me. Yarn install. It looks like everything worked, did it? Okay, but there's still this. Hey, now it's gone. Great. So here we have our warehouse again. And still we want to have Bob at w.c, and we would like to put go in here, and we are not sure whether this worked. So at F12 we can see there is this button pressed message here. Great. Cool. And we have this dollar here. Great. I can get rid of this one here. Hey, here we are. So what we want is we want to access this field with jQuery. In order to, well, look it up, this input thing here, it needs an ID, or the most simple thing to do it is to give it an ID. And I think I need to use double quotes in here because this is JavaScript. No, this is HTML, and they use double quotes, while JavaScript and TypeScript use single quotes for these texts. And the ID will be the email input or something like that. Okay. And now I should be able to accept this. And there is this dollar variable, which is actually a function. And you call it with a so-called selector. So here you put the thing that you are looking for. And you can look for tags. You could look for things that have a certain class, whatever this is. Or you can look for IDs. And if you look for IDs, you do a hashtag. And then the ID. So we copy this one here, put it there. Sorry, I did too much. Okay, email input. This function will actually now deliver this HTML thing here. Internally, HTML is represented with a tree of objects. And what we get is the object that represents this input field here. This object, we can ask for its value. And this should give us the thing that we have typed into the input field. And so now I need a completion command that tells me, oh, please store this into a local variable. Does Visual Studio Code have such a thing? Who knows this? Maybe. I have to try a bit. Okay. Yeah, that should do the job. Okay. How can I know whether this was actually working? I would like to put it out in my console. So I would like to add something to this string here, the email address. And I could do so by adding plus email. Let's give it a try. And then we have to put something in here, press OK. And there's the button pressed bob@wasp.com. Can you see that? it says button pressed bob@wasp.com. There's a blank missing. So if we do that again, now it says this thing here. Hey, we got the value that we wanted. That's great. I don't like this. Do never stitch strings together this way. It's a pretty bad way. So what we will use is a back quote. Instead of a usual straight quote, a single back quote. And within a single back quote, this is actually, again, a template. And you can have JavaScript code embedded into that string constant, and it will be executed and replaced by its content. So this is, again, something like a placeholder. And in here, you can do code. Example, you can call the variable email. And this should do the same job. Button pressed bob@wasp.com, and I find this a little bit more readable than this plus and quoting up and down and all this kind of stuff. So this is a simple thing that I usually do. Cool. Hey, so what is the time after all? It's 1 hour and 15 minutes already. Now we have to speed up. But I'm pretty fine with the progress we have already made. But there's more things coming. We go back to our example. It says, so I have entered the name, I have the OK button, I did click it, I got the value of my input field, and so now it shall show register bob@w.com and open these other things. Because I do not yet have this thing here. I do not yet know about bob@w.c. So what we actually need now is we need to call our server and ask for, do we already have this account? And for its information, and then check the password in the next step. As we do not yet have the server, we will, simulate it in our client application, which is pretty unusual, but let's do that. So what we want to do is we want a set of users up here, and then we would like to look whether we already know the user with this email address. This is now a big step. Should we do that first? Yeah, come on, why not? So we need some data. And for historical reason, I do the data always in a subfolder, which I call model, which is my logical model of this application. And within that model, we create a new file, and I call it user.ts. It's only ts, not tsx, because that file will just compile, will just be plain TypeScript, and it will not use these HTML templates. And I'm not sure about it, but I will use an interface here. If you use a class, it's a little bit more complicated. And the interface is called user, which is just a type without real implementation. And it will have, a user shall have a name, which is a string. And it should have an email, which is another string. And it should have a password, which is yet another string. And now it says, oh, just an interface in here, that's a bad idea. And you need to do an export default in here. So yeah, if you put an export default in here, you can, on the other side, import it. And actually, on the import, you say, let's try it. Usually you say, I would like to import this file here. And from that file, I want a certain thing, a certain symbol that I want to use. So I want an import from model /model. So why is there no completion? And then it's user.ts, I think. And the thing that I want to import is this one. And it says no. User.ts. Wait for completion. Ah, yeah. I'm not sure. Usually it's so, but I just say model.user and I do not need the extension. Okay. And the comma is the right thing to do? Yeah. So yeah, you can wish it now. Okay. So now I want a variable that contains this. The set of users we already know, so a list of users. And I want that within a state, which is a special thing used by an app, by these components. So there's two fields within a React component that have a predefined meaning. One is called props, as short for properties, and the other one is called state. And these are used if you do a nesting of components. And therefore, we will deal with these, and we will now have a state component. And we should have a type for that. And I would use this type app state for that. I'm not really sure of this, but I think we should have it. And therefore, we need that type. And I've declared here with an app state as a type. And we want users. And users is an array of users. User array or list. Is this okay? Sebastian, did I do that? Besides of the state, it needs a private or public since then. Never. No, that's not true. No. No. What we actually need is an initialization of this state. And now it's fine. So these are things. So first of all, Sebastian was saying, oh, we need private, protected, public things. Yeah, we will add this later on. I would like to omit it for today, just to keep things simple. And please, yes, Sebastian, say. You're right. So can I say new app state? No. Yeah. Yeah. So I actually have to initialize that, do I? Yeah, I wanted to do that in a constructor. So our app class needs a constructor now that we use for initialization. And there we will say state, no, this dot state becomes a new object. We could actually initialize this dot state dot users, couldn't we? Dot users. And now this becomes just an empty list. Or could I do a user empty list? Sorry. Yeah, oh my key is broken on my keyboard. Oh my God, I cannot do a shift anymore. So I should add a type. So why? Line 13. I do an app state. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I'm clicking on that one. This dot state becomes users. Still an empty array. Okay. He looks pretty unhappy. Yeah, he says you are inheriting from React component and you need to pass forward a parameter to that. And the parameter that we need to pass forward is a props. And we need to declare that. And then we can call super. Come on, this broken key is really, oh my God, I can't do that. My keyboard is broken. Super, and that one wants the props again. And for the old guy, I use the other one. The semicolon here and the semicolon there. So cool. Okay, not too bad. So why do we do that? So now we have a list of users. And so now our enter button action can try whether this new user with this email that we just got here is already a known user or not. Therefore, I will actually use a helper function, which is the get from users operation, which gets an email I'm looking for as a parameter. And then it does a loop through all the users in our current state. For const user of this state users. Cool. So this is how you do a loop in TypeScript. And if from this user the email equals, they need 3 equal signs. I have no idea why. It's for the string constants, 2 equal signs is just a different thing. Thank you for this advice, for this hint. And we would like to compare it with the email. And if that did work, then we return the user. So yes, we have it already. Otherwise, we return null. Okay? Can you see that actually? Yeah, great. Cool. Yeah, that should do the job. So let's try that. This dot get from users the email. And again, later on, we will actually, yeah, cool. Const user. So he's complaining. He says, this get from users operation requires a string, but this thing might be anything. I have no idea. It might be a string. It might be a number. It might be an array. It might be undefined. I have no fucking idea. This is because the value operation delivers you something and has no clear return type. It does deliver a string, a number, a string array, or undefined, or something. So we add a type conversion. We say, I want that this is a string, or turn it into a string. And then this is gone. The problem is gone with this call here. Yeah. So now email actually has the type string. This is done by this type conversion, and we are fine. Cool. So, and now we put another thing. Oh no. Let's just output the user in addition. So it's a dollar curly braces user. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let's get rid of the old ones. This one is the new one, the current one. And I add Bob. I press OK. And then they're saying, oh my God, what did you do to me? A type error. I cannot read the property get from users of undefined. I didn't know that. So, but it's another learning opportunity. So the problem here is that, oh yeah, cool. The problem here is, oh my God. We have provided this enter button action to the on click via its direct pointer. The point here is that this is actually a method that is actually working on a current object, but by providing just the method in its naked way and not calling it on this directly, it will lose this contact to its object. So frankly speaking, the simple speaking is that this variable is not defined if I pass a method in a parameter or in a variable. And therefore we need to fix this. And this is done in the constructor usually. And let's say I will put it here. So what we do is we say this enter button action, this variable, needs to be bind its variable. Bind this. Actually, yeah, that's a bit or a problem here. Cool. Okay. Great. Yeah, that should do the job. Save. Warehouse. Okay, here we are. button pressed, bobwebs.com, and the value of our user is null, which is not astonishing because we do not yet have it. That's cool. So now we can actually react and say, okay, we have a new user. Now we need to switch to the registration page. And how many time do I still have? Oh, I'm just have done 1.5 hours. I will need some 10, 15 minutes in addition. Actually, we have 3 hours or 4 hours after all. But this first lecture, it's so complicated things, and we need some more time to get into the starting point and to be ready for our first assignment. So I'm sorry for that. I will need more time, which is happening all the time for me. Sorry for that. Okay. So now something more complicated shall be done. And we'll actually do something more within this render thing here. And what we will actually do, we say, okay, if we are in this state, I will have multiple pages and I will show one of it. So we will have let page equal div. I give a div with a default value. And this is my default page by now. Come on. Okay. And then I do an if statement. If this dot state dot, I will use a current page. Or it should be 3 of those. And when this is the enter page, I will do a certain thing. And if it is something else, I will do something other. And this is a little bit a hack, but we will have to discuss whether this is a good idea to do it this way or we should do it in another way. The current page is something that I'll add to, come on. Current page to my, it's a string. Yeah. And then he says, oh, it's not initialized. So we do that. Current page. Do I have to say again it's a string? No, yeah, no, I'm fine. Yeah. And I do it with enter. So now current page is enter. So we will hit this one here, and then we say page shall become all this. Yeah. Okay. I think I will put it this way. Then it is shift forward. Come on. Doesn't like me. I want to format this. But this was alternative shift. Yeah, thank you. That did work. No. I really lost my keyboard. That's a pain. Come on. I need a colon here. Here we are. Okay. Semicolon. Great. So now page get this one, and here I just return page. And that should be the same like before. Okay, great. So now in the enter button action, I will say, okay, if my user is, no, if I have a user, I do something, and I will change the current page value. Let's try that. Current page. The current page. No, that's not working. This dot state dot current page shall become register. No, login. So if we have a user, so everything that is not null delivers true if you use it in an if. And so if I have found an old user, I say, oh, just need the password. So I go for the login page and hey, else I go for this dots for the register page. Okay, and now here comes something special to React. You cannot just change the value of a state attribute because this value is used to change the appearance of your web page. Actually, if you change something in the state, you want that the render function is going to update your actual page. You would like to get the enter away and do the register in here. And this is not happening if you do not, well, trigger it. And in order to trigger it, you need to call the method setState, which you are inheriting from React component. And this is actually assigning a new value to state and then triggers the rendering of the new content. And so we need to do that. And the setState has quite a different number of things that you can do. What you usually do is you have an object in here that you return. And in that object, you fill a page, an attribute with a new value. And let's get rid of that one. And that's probably the way you would do that. And then there you need a clothing bracket and probably this one. And then it is Alt-Shift format. Hey, I love it. Like this. So that state will actually replace the state object. And then there is a new state object assigned, which has just this one field. And actually, setState does a lot of voodoo, and it will merge the new object with the old object. So it overrides all the attributes that you actually provide and keeps the value of the old user's attribute, which is empty, by the way, so that's not a big problem here. So that is the thing that you need to do. So we copy that and put it up here. And this is actually voodoo. And I already tried to make this as simple as it is possible. Oh, let's get back here and put login. Come on. Put login here and here. Fine. Okay. Cool. And there's some clothing brackets missing in here. Probably here. And then we need to format again. Here. Great. So this has been done in the enter button action. Cool. And it says, okay, I check the name of the user. I do not yet have this user. I change the current page to register. This will, this will actually trigger a new execution of this render operation. Yeah, please. Sebastian, there's a problem? Oh, damn it. Yeah. So, here we are already almost done. Just the very last thing here. So, we do an else and say if this dot state dot current page equals register. The thing that we just did before, then we want a new page. And this new page is pretty similar to this page here. So I just copy it and say, oh no, here it says register. And yeah, I still want an email input. I want an on-click button, but another action. And I just add one more field, the div the input for the name, and then we are done for today. Input yeah, we could have an ID, but okay. I did see that I didn't do that one here. I want a placeholder in here saying what is the default content. And and the default content is please enter email. Email question mark. So let's have a look. It's not in here. Placeholder equals email. Oh yeah. Okay. It's in the wrong page after all. Let's see. So it now asks for what should I enter in here? Then I enter Bob. I say okay. And here we have a register and Bob is already there. Oh, I have no idea. And here we are asked for something we do not know. So let's have that one in here. And that would be your name. So if I add Bob, go for OK, it asks me for a name. And then we will have another question mark for asking for the password. Then we need to encrypt the password, and then we go on. But for now, this is fine for me. This is the thing that I would like to do as the homework assignment for this week. Please implement these two steps of our login for the warehouse, where first you enter an email, and then when you do not know the email, then you show a registration page. If you do know the email, you just ask for the password, and then we are done. So we have 3 pages you have to implement: the enter page, the register page, and the login page. That's it. So you need another field here for the password name. I can add that one. That's a simple one. There we have another input. Yeah, and then we will do a type equal password. And then we actually do not need a placeholder anymore, because that will be explained itself. Let's try. Okay. If I enter that one, so I now have a password field here, and if I do start editing here, it's hidden. So that's a password field, so that the user, no one can see the password while I'm typing. That's a good one. Okay, and then for handling the password, we will need some kind of encryption. I have already said that you should include some encryption library and install it. We do not go this far in this lecture today. We will have it next week. You do not need to do it in your assignment yet. Just want these 3 pages, and it can go through those, and then we are fine. What you need to do is when you actually have, we need to do that one. So the enter button action, this was the action that we used on the login page. Use it here. That is called, if you click on the first OK button. So this action shall actually create the new user. And this should be done in addition to, this is done at the end of the registration. Okay, I'm fine. It's okay, forget about it. So at the end of the registration, we will have another action. So the registration, let's do that. Yeah. The registration has another OK button. So we need another enter register button action. We need a register button action. That action should, get the content of all these 3 things here and create a user. This is too complicated, is it? So, smaller homework. Just try to get as far as I have done in my lectures. It's okay if you just have 2 pages. The enter page, so this page, you enter some email, you go for the registration page. Fine, that's it. That's all we need this week. Okay? There are too much things to be shown for the other steps. And if I say it now, it's not good. So the homework, yet again, is please implement these 2 pages, the enter page and the register page, and this workflow where you first enter an email and then you come up with the registration page where you ask for a name and a password, and then we are fine. Okay? So the idea is that the lesson is now going, or the lecture is going to stop now, and we all switch to the Discord. And you may start with the assignment if you already have time. So for the next hour or so, there will be myself and some teaching assistants around that are going through these teaching channels here. So please just go to one of these teaching channels, form yourself into groups up to 4 or 5 people, and then our TAs, our teaching assistants, our student assistants will actually join you in these rooms and visit you there, and then you can have a chat with those guys. You can even have a camera, you can do screen sharing, and these kinds of things. And just keep the chat open all the time. Start with this. And if you run into a problem, just shout it out and ask for your student colleagues, have you seen this problem too? Can you help me on that? You do screen sharing on that, and then you collaborate until each and everybody has it. Okay? And our TAs will actually join you in these groups and will discuss with this. So if a group has already more than 4 or 5 people, just go for the next group. Ah, yes, fine. There's more people here. And so just distribute evenly on those groups, and then happy hacking. For an hour or so, we will constantly visit you in these rooms, and then we will can help you on problems you have. And on Thursday, Donnerstag at 1600, the TDAs will again be there in these rooms, and when you actually have achieved or have finished your assignment, you can show it to the TAs, and they will actually give you the approval and or say ask for more and something like that, and then you get your points. Okay, that's the way we do with this. So thank you for the attention. I'm sorry for the very complex start. That's the way it is. It's a lot of new things. And please now exercise it. And I hope I see a lot of you in the teaching rooms this afternoon and on Thursday afternoon. And then see you again next lecture Monday. We will complete the front end a little bit and then start with the back end. Thank you for attending.